morning. This is the VSA Morning Miner on Friday, the 10th of July. And I, David Scriven, I'm with Ollie O'Donnell as our dear leader is in Cornwall. How are you, Ollie?
Yep, all good here. Thanks, David. How are you?
Very good, thanks. Very good. So, just to kick off, for those following critical metals and scandium, which is very, very niche and used in fuel cells and strengthening aluminium alloys, keep an eye on Sunrise Mining in Australia. The share price is up 3 times over the last 5 months, and it relates to a story out there. I'll let you have a look at it, to do with Hunterbrook and Bloom Energy, the US fuel cell provider. So take a look at that. I thought it was quite interesting. But back to the UK and Golden Prospect, precious metals, that would now be appearing to go to having appointed Baker Steel as the investment manager. So look forward to the stewardship from Trevor Steele, Mark Burridge, who've got a very good track record and respect in the industry for running that fund. So take a look out for that news, and then we'll move to companies and Phoenix Copper. Your thoughts, Ollie?
Well, this morning they've announced completion of a retail offer, which is pretty small at £67,000. That's all done at half a penny, in line with the placing that happened earlier this week of, I think, about £2.4 million. Obviously, that 0.5p is a significant discount, and it follows the difficult financing situation that the company was in after their governance issues were discovered earlier in the year. All of this is conditional on a GM, which will happen on the 24th of July of this year. So should all get approved. Well, if it's approved, it'll all go through a couple of days later. But clearly, the company's in financial distress and trying to resolve the issues that have happened over the last couple of years.
Well, we'll look to see how that progresses. And moving on to ARC Minerals, the geophysical program at Virgo project in Botswana's Kalahari Copper Belt.
It's the Q2 quarterly update from ARC across all their projects. As you say, they've been doing geophysical surveys at their Kalahari Copper project, and that's all being done ahead of a planned drill program, which is due to start in August. They've been focusing on the Botswana licenses whilst they've had some legal disputes in Zambia, but as of the end of May, those have been resolved according to the company. So we'll be looking for updates to see whether they can get back into the field in country, although it does highlight that they're in discussions with potential partners who might be able to help them fund the next steps of exploration.
And perhaps we could turn to noronex and the reported financial results from the exploration programs in Namibia and Botswana.
Noronex, we've been keeping an eye on, given Andrew's trip coming up to Namibia later in the year. These results haven't quite gone the way the company was hoping. There's a intercept of 28 meters at 0.3% copper and 26 grams ton silver. That's probably one of the best in the program, but from this latter part of the drill program for these final results, they were really hoping to hit thicker and higher grade structures. But it does kind of highlight the challenges that are associated with drilling in Namibia, and also Botswana too, because you are often testing through the cover from the Kalahari Desert, which makes interpreting geophysics, geochemical anomalies at surface more difficult, as it dilutes the signal of what's going on in the basement rocks below. So although we've talked a lot about the success that you can have and and the prospectivity in terms of deposits that can be found, the cover does make it relatively higher risk exploration. So you can be disappointed, but that's not to say that the next program, which is due to start later in the year, is likely to be 2,500 meters, won't hit those structures that they're looking for.
Very good. We've come up to that sort of 5-minute plus mark, unless there's any further thoughts you'd like to add on the news, perhaps we'll draw it to a close. We will be looking forward to a feast of sport over the days ahead, and wish our listeners a very good weekend.
Excellent. Thanks, David.
Thanks.
This podcast has been produced and edited by VSA Capital. It is intended for information purposes and not as investment advice. The information is intended for recipients who understand the risks associated with equity investments in smaller companies. Please do your own research and do not rely on a single source when making an investment decision. VSA Capital may derive fees from this content and seeks to do business with the companies mentioned.